Welcome to WYSC, where we give you a quick peek at the day's top stories. I'm Julia Manchester, in for Jamal Simmons. Andrew Yang has a warning for fellow 2020 candidates. The presidential election is a year away, but some voters will be casting major votes this week. Donald Trump is pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, and this is why you should care. While House Democrats trudge forward on their impeachment inquiry, 2020 presidential candidate Andrew Yang isn't confident their effort will pay off. Though he's reiterated support for impeachment, he's also gone on the record warning Democrats about talking too much about the issue.
The more we focus on Donald Trump, even if it's in the context of impeaching Donald Trump, it's a lost opportunity for us to present a new positive vision that Americans can get excited about.
He echoed those calls as he made the rounds on cable news over the weekend. He told CNN's Dana Bash that in the general election, it will be whoever wins the Democratic nomination against Donald Trump. And impeachment alone will not be a strong enough argument to win over the American people. Just this week, a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows that half of the country, 49%, support Donald Trump's removal from office, but 46% are still not on board with impeaching him. So why should you care? Exactly a year from today, Americans will vote for the next president. According to the Real Clear Politics average, 56% of respondents think the country is going in the wrong direction. Americans care about jobs, healthcare, and the economy, not just impeachment. Looking at this data, maybe Yang has a point. Voters are heading to the polls today to vote in elections that could lead to major shifts in power. President Trump has been spending time in Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana, showing support for GOP candidates running for governor. Virginia's state legislature will be gaining new members, and Democrats have the chance to flip the House and the Senate. In both Mississippi and Kentucky, Democrats could retake the governor's mansions. In San Francisco, Mayor London Breed is running for a full term. She has the support from big-name politicians such as Governor Gavin Newsom and Senator Kamala Harris. Mayor Pete Buttigieg won't be running for re-election, but he is endorsing his former chief of staff, James Mueller, to take his place as mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Now, why should you care? These upcoming elections could act as a litmus test for Trump's 2020 campaign. We will get to see who is showing up to the elections and who still needs to be swayed. These races are close and have big roles at risk. Both Mississippi candidates are in striking distance of one another, and a huge upset could be staged in this historically red state. Kentucky candidates are also in a dead heat. If Virginia flips the House and the Senate, Democrats will have more say with the legislative agenda. Things like redistricting are bound to come up in those legislatures. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on the outcomes of these elections. Two years later, Donald Trump is making a move to fulfill a campaign promise, officially withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement. This after the landmark agreement was signed by former President Obama in 2015. As you may know, the Paris Agreement was put in place to address the growing problem of climate change. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said in the announcement, quote, "President Trump made the decision to withdraw from the Paris Agreement because of the unfair economic burden imposed on American workers, businesses, and taxpayers." The decision is receiving a harsh rebuke from environmentalists and Democrats who focus on climate change as a top priority. So here's why you should care. The move comes weeks ahead of a United Nations summit where leaders will iron out the details for observing the agreement. Climate experts warn that a global effort is needed to limit rising temperatures, but some also say it might be too little too late. The U.S. backing out of the Paris Climate Accords could leave the entire agreement in jeopardy of falling apart if other countries follow suit. Another criticism of President Trump's decision is that it leaves the U.S. out of the emerging global economy of renewable energy. The earliest the U.S. can officially disconnect itself from the agreement is November 4th, 2020. For reference, that's one day after the presidential election.
Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.